On the Moody's US credit rating cut issued Friday, May 16th, the forward outlook is a 35% chance of a recession for the US economy in fiscal 2025, and the GDP outlook for 2025 comes in at 1.5%, according to David Costin of Goldman Sachs. By specifically the scenario by David Costin in which annual GDP comes in at 1.5%, if the 2025 GDP outlook includes the first quarter of fiscal 25, in which GDP came in at 2.7%, this specific scenario would indicate a very depressed performance out of the real US economy in the three remaining quarters of 2025. MIT indicates that for annual growth to come in at 1.5%, GDP growth in the first quarter indicating a GDP expansion of 2.7%, the second, third, and the fourth quarter have to come in at 1.1% on average, which indicates a very sharp drop in GDP in the first over second quarter. A particular issue is for the third and the fourth quarter, respectively. This holiday mid-season uptick in activity, and for the fourth quarter, the holiday season pickup in activity is incorporated in both quarters, respectively. That indicates that the second quarter needs to provide the absolute lowest level of specifically GDP indicator. MIT also indicates by that postulation the second quarter is set to come in at 0.3% GDP growth, so a quarterly transition from 2.7% in the first quarter to 0.3% in the second quarter. So you can assess that type of volatility in the real economy outside of crisis is almost unseen and likely improbable. So the assessment offered by David Costin of Goldman Sachs is very unlikely to occur in statistical sense. Since we are well in the second quarter, mid-May, key indicators assessed by Goldman Sachs indicate on a second quarter basis GDP growth of 2.4% on a very conservative assessment. The only position the analysis brought forward by David Costin can ascertain that aside from the uptake of both holiday periods at the middle and the end of fiscal 2025, the economy must present almost no growth at all. Jan Hatzius wants to offer his view on the discussion of aforementioned conflicting views on GDP and emphasizes the importance of conflicting views in the financial and economic world. We know out of experience and insights that conflicting views compressed to a sensible aggregate can offer more efficiency and effectiveness in the decision making process, as stated by Ken Griffin of Citadel Securities. On to the next topic, the forecast for Fed rate cuts based on research of Jan Hatzius of Goldman Sachs. Jan Hatzius believes, due to tariff de-escalation, as we saw as as we saw between China and the US this week, with a highly substantial drop in overall tariffs between both nations, there will be a slower path to rate cuts by the Federal Reserve, at least for the next few unspecified numbers of quarters, according to analysts at Goldman Sachs. My personal view is the necessity into insight if the repricing of tariffs, as described above, is a temporary measure or a term of volatility or even a singular fluctuation on one end, or a generalized secular trend in which all tariffs directed to all trading partners are dissolved completely. The underlying technical dynamic that would support Jan's outlook is that inflation is set to subside because of an outlook of tariff de escalation, which is likely to bring down inflation and reduce the necessity of further rate cuts. An assessment also supported at the same time looking at other macroeconomic indicators such as the unemployment rate